I thought I would do a romantic Valentine's Day look. What do you think so far?
Cute. Looks nice.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Kate and welcome to my channel. So for today's video, I'm kind of thinking to do another Valentine's themed look. Kind of a throwback as well. I want to dip into the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. So I know she has the Love palette and the Mini Love palette, which are more Valentine's-y than this one, but I'm not huge into pinks and purples too much, so I did pass on the kind of midi-size Love palette. But this one, I just love the colors in here. I love the yellows, I love the shimmers, I do love the kind of berries and purples that are in this one. So I'm gonna see if we can kind of do a purpley berry Valentine's look today. Before we dive in with the eyeshadow, I'm gonna go off camera and just fill in my brows, prime my eyes, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I went in on the brows with my ABH Dip Brow, and then I primed my lids with the Ulta primer, and now I'm ready to dive in. So I think I'm gonna start right away with the deepest shade. It is Clove. I'm gonna grab like a kind of medium to small fluffy crease brush and just start popping that in the outer corners. I don't want this to be too deep of a look today. I'm maybe gonna try to make it more romantic feeling, but who knows which way we'll go. So this is a palette that I really didn't have any interest in when it first released. I had a couple Natasha Denona palettes. I have the gold and the Biba and the Safari. But this one, the color story at first just didn't really call to me. And then when I had a chance to see it in person and swatch some of the shades, I just thought they were so unique. You know, I really don't have a pretty kind of yellow, really soft yellow shimmer like this. Some of these purples, they're just beautiful. And this has kind of turned into my most used Natasha palette. I love it for like a really subtle kind of sunset look, a really simple yellow look. I am just obsessed with this. So this will be my first time really dipping into these shades in this palette. I've played around with most of the other things, but I haven't really dipped into these. Alright, I'm gonna stop there with that shade, and I am going to grab, I think I'm gonna go to the shade Glory. It looks like it's just a little bit lighter than Clove, and just kind of buff that around the edges. So a lot of these are probably going to get covered up once we go in with shimmers, but it's just kind of laying down a nice base for us. Alright, so we have that rich color, but it's really softened out. And I'm not going to do a cut crease or anything today. Like I said, I just want it kind of soft and romantic. There is this purple shade, but I think it's more of a topper. But it's got a really pretty sheen to it. The shade Awakening, which is right up here, that's one of my favorite shades in the palette. It's just a really kind of goldy but pink, just a really special shade. So I think I'm gonna go in with that shade Awakening and just kind of lay that down on the lid, and then maybe I'll add like one of the reds in. There's also this shade Poppy, which is a pretty reddish shade. So, you know, I think I'm gonna pop Poppy on the outer part and then maybe go in with that purple shade. So I'm just gonna dip in with a finger and start to lay that down. Oh, it's pretty red. So it is a really pretty shade, but I do want to go a little more subtle. So the shade Azalea right here, it's kind of an orangey, let's see, I don't know if that would pair well. Let's put that over the top of Poppy just to kind of settle out that red a little bit. I'm gonna grab the purple. I'll see how sheer it is on, but I'm gonna grab a brush just to have a little more control in the front. And it looks like it picks up okay on a brush. But I just thought this purple would be a nice way to make it kind of a more subtle look, not too red, a little more romantic feeling. Okay, that's blending in really pretty to the other shimmers. So again, I wanted those shimmers down just to have a level of depth, but I'm hoping to have more of the purple be the star. I'm not loving it. I think I'm going to go back in with the deepest shade on the outer corner and just kind of add a little depth back in. Maybe a cut crease would have been better with this look. There is quite a bit of fallout with this purple. I don't know if you can see all the shimmer, but that's why I do my eyes first and do my face last. So I think I'm gonna stop there. Again, just kind of going for a really soft gradient, very romantic, not really a harsh, too sultry of a vibe today, just more romantic. So I'm gonna pause there on the lids. I'm gonna go in with my skincare, foundation, and I'll be back. All right, so I'm back, foundation and concealer done. I used the Uoma foundation and the shade White Pearl, and then the Rare Beauty concealer. I just want to create a little more dimension. I'm gonna pop into my Kaja Rose Water bento box and grab just kind of a small flat brush. And I think I'm just gonna take the lightest shimmer and just kind of lay that on, just on the lid. To add a little shimmer and dimension. I like that purple, but it's just, you know, like I said, it's kind of a topper, so it just wasn't adding quite what I wanted. So I still kind of see the purple underneath, but it just adds a little more. Alright, so going in on the lower lash line, I'm going to start with that deepest shade Clove and just start to drag that underneath. So what do you think? Is it feeling soft and romantic, or is it getting a little too bold? Hi, honey!
Hey! Nice look.
Oh, I thought I would do a romantic Valentine's Day look. What do you think so far?
Sure.
Alright, so my camera died and I didn't realize it, so while it was dead, I went in on the lower lash line with the deepest shade and I buffed it out a little bit. I went in on the waterline just with a black liner. I added my bronzer. So now we're going into blush. So I'm just going to go kind of pink today. Like I said, going for kind of a softer romantic look. I don't know that the eyes really achieved that, but I'm going into a Patrick Ta She's That Girl. Then I'm going to go on top of the powder with the cream. I have kind of a flat-topped Morphe M444, so I'm just going to pick up a little bit of that cream shadow and tap it on top. I just kind of like to tap that in with my fingers. And then just to buff out the edges, I'm going to grab some finishing powder and go around that. Okay, right, for highlighter today, I'm gonna grab my ColourPop in Flexitarian, grab that super flimsy brush. A little under the brow bone. Okay, all right, oh, I just love those Patrick Ta blushes. They just kind of give that perfect sheen on the cheek. I love going over the powder with the cream. So before my camera dies again, I'm going to go off camera, do some liner and mascara, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Here's the final look. What do we think? So I do like the eye look. I love how that Kaja Bento shade just layers on it, lets you kind of still see the purple peeping out. but just adds that level of shimmer. I went in with the Bite Beauty mascara. I did add lashes today just for that, you know, extra romantic date night vibe. And for my lips, I have a NYX pencil in the shade Whipped Caviar. And I topped it off with a Fenty Gloss Bomb, and this is the shade Fussy. So just a nice glossy lip today. So yeah, this palette from Natasha Denona has, you know, easily become my most used from her, even with the gold and the Biba that I grab for pretty often. I just love these shades. I love how her shadows perform. I definitely find her, at least this size palette, as worth the price. However, this is the only one of this size that I have. I've passed on the other ones because they've been a little more basic color story wise, but definitely if she were to come out with something in this size with a more unique color story like this one, I would definitely pick it up. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed my video, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you soon.